thought that we were done with the rule talk, didn't you? No. This is Ashley and Andrew, and this is Rule Talk 101. Or should I say it's Rule Talk 101 with Ashley and Andrew. I don't know. Works either way. So, my question, Andrew, is that the Mayhem division, there's 2 Mayhems now, right?
2 classes under the division. Yeah.
Right, under the division. Okay.
Yep.
So, in that, I got told by little birdie that someone is building, multiple people are building for our Mayhem class, which we're super excited about, and we're stoked. We want you to go for it. But we want to make sure that when you're building for it, that you're following the rules. That way you don't get disqualified. Because it's not what we want. We want everybody to have fun, build awesome systems, and have a great time. Yep. Well, the little bird told me, though, that this gentleman is building his box forward of the B pillar, which is that allowed in the Mayhem class. And not only is it forward of the B pillar, but they're angling the box in such a way that the port is aimed directly at the mic, which gives you an advantage.
Right.
I would think.
Right.
Is that correct? That it would give you an advantage?
It would, and that's what we are hearing. That's the chatter that's making its way to us. So, which it's good that it's coming up now, right? Instead of like a week before 2024 finals, and then we've got to make this video, and then people get upset because they thought that they were in the clear all year, and
we're trying to stay ahead of things and make sure everyone is being treated fairly.
I think sometimes people read too much into the lingo that's in the rule book, and they see certain buzzwords and they go, oh, because it says that, then that means I can do anything. Right. So I'll cite from, so this is last year's rule book, a hard copy. So this particular rule that I'm referencing, this is not changing. So this is going to be the same for 2024. It's just the only difference is that we're adding an additional Mayhem class under the Mayhem division. So in past year, which was last year, we had just a burp class or tone only. So you would do a peak score. And now we're adding a music class in conjunction with that. So
which is how many seconds?
So it'll be a 30-second average, and the meter will be in the legal position. So the meter's not moving, it's staying in the same spot. But what the rule actually states, this is straight from the rule book, I'm reading this. So it says that the very first line under Mayhem Division says, Mayhem Division will adhere to the general Midwest rules except for the following changes. So it says the Mayhem Division will adhere to the general Midwest rules. So what does that mean? And then
don't ask me, I'm the one asking questions.
Right. So that's the first thing that you gotta, I think some people read this and they skip over that part. Yeah. They think, okay, because then it says, except for the following changes, well, here's all the changes that we allow.
But first you're supposed to go back and read and follow the general rules.
The general
first.
Midwest
they apply
rules.
First always.
So I think this particular person that's doing this, or maybe several people that are doing this, they're overlooking that first part that says we'll adhere to the general Midwest rules. And I'm going to cite some of those general Midwest rules that, with what Ashley just talked about, you'd be in direct violation of these rules pretty quick and pretty easy once I read them.
Also, like birds. So, any other birds want to talk to me about stuff?
So, the modifications that are allowed, and this is where I think these are some of the buzzwords is, and then I'll kind of highlight those when we get to them. But it says
you're gonna read the whole thing. And
yeah, I mean, might as well. It's just one rule. So
yeah, I know.
So it says, interior modifications are required in this class. So it's a requirement. So in the Mayhem division is, I'll kind of skip to the end of this rule. So
you said you were reading the whole thing.
Well, I got to stress my point here. So it's saying that only those vehicles which have these interior modifications that prohibit them from competing in any other Midwest class may participate in Mayhem. So we're not going to, you have to have mods forward of the B pillar. Like, we need to see that in the build in order for you to be eligible to compete in Mayhem.
Okay.
If we don't see those modifications, this is another thing that I think people might overlook is they think, well, anybody can run Mayhem. Well, you can to some extent, but if you fit in another Midwest class, then we're not going to allow you to run Mayhem unless you had these modifications for the B-pillar. So, these are like the super, just, extreme modified vehicles that have got. And
if you have mods for the B-pillar, then you don't qualify for any of the other classes at all? Or
well, it depends on the mods, and this is what it lists. So it basically, this is the buzzword I think people are getting, like, they get excited about. It says anything goes. So most people read that and they think, okay, I can do whatever I want. Forward of the B-pillar, I can build a box up there. I can put subs up there. I can have the port coming up and being right up next to the mic on the dash, and I'm legal for Mayhem. Well, not exactly. So it lists what the anything goes is. So it says floor cuts, battery boxes, double windshields, roof build down, stripper poles, seat removed, wooden floor, bolted door shut, etc. And then the other caveat too is we allow the higher voltage in Mayhem, which we've also bumped that up in advanced classes for this next season. And then it tells you that the meter will be in the legal position, and that's for both classes in Mayhem, so the burp class and the music class. But what I want to highlight is what are the general rules that we're talking about. So if we go back to the beginning of the rule book, so right at the front, those are the general rules, and then that continues on forward all the way till you get to the classes. So the general rules continue all the way up until...
And there's quite a few general rules.
General rules. So it goes all the way through section 8. So there's 8 sections about general rules and classifications.
Yeah. So, but I have a question because you were saying etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, do they maybe think that etc. means that they get to decide what etc. means, or?
I think some people do, but at the same time, we're leaving that open for creativity because we don't want to tell you how to build the cabin, okay? But we're also going to say that, there's certain modifications that would not be allowed, and
those are listed in the general rules.
Right.
Okay.
So there's general specification rules that we don't allow, and so one of them is
is there one that goes along with the box being angled to the mic?
Yeah. So if we go to section 6, which talks about installation requirements, so. It says, so the very first one says, nothing in the sound system may interfere with the normal daily use and or operation of the vehicle. This includes equipment on the floor or seat or seating position of passengers. Specific divisions for details, okay? And then we talk about like how that rule applies to different divisions. And then if you continue on to rule 6.5, it says subwoofers and subwoofer enclosures are required to be located behind the edge of the driver's door to the edge of the passenger door, referenced as the B-pillar and or door jamb. Okay. So that rule right there says you can't build anything forward of the B-pillar in any class.
Okay.
So it's not allowed in any class.
So the mods are considered like...
Yeah, so you can't have a speaker wall or speaker enclosure forward of the B-pillar. So in Mayhem...
Okay.
Yeah, Mayhem, you can't build a box in the passenger compartment seat area, like where the passenger seat would be, and build this box up and stack 2 18s there and then have a port with an arrow port firing right on the mic. And then there's another rule that actually talks about mic placement and says... so there's a section 3 talks about vehicle interior requirements, and this has to do with how we place the mic and obstructions or things of that nature, right? So the very first rule in section 3 says no obstructions or modifications can affect the placement of the sensor and or manipulate the SPL reading. This includes any items, seats, or other obstacles within 12 inches of any part of the sensor. So regardless of what class you're in, what division, whatever, if the mic's in the legal position, then you cannot have, we use a mic stick, Ashley.
I know, but it's still like that much.
Yeah.
Don't be getting close.
Well, and even if,
just kidding.
Even if seats fold forward, we don't allow them to be within 12 inches of the sensor. So that's also another. So,
okay. Sorry about
that. What I was saying is that we don't allow anything to come within 12 inches of the sensor. So if there's like even an A-pillar pod up there on the dash that you know, or a tweeter pod or something like that. We
Kinda
measure
angles out too far.
Yeah, we measure from that over. So we measure 12 inches over from that. So nothing can be within 12 inches of sensor.
Gotcha.
On that plane. Now we go 4 inches up from the dash plane, but then
That was a weird.
but then nothing. So like even like the seat, that's what I was mentioning when you.
I heard the seat part.
So the seat, like some seats fold right up to the dash.
Yeah.
If they come within 12 inches or closer, then we ask.
Then they have to move it
They
back.
have to tilt the seat back. Yeah.
So you do December.
So you couldn't
tilt it back.
So you couldn't have a port that would come up and be, you know, and even still, like the rule 6 is, I mean, you can't have an enclosure forward of the B pillar anyway. So
Right.
so that you've got 2 rules there that kind of kick that out right away. And just because I think people see that anything goes in Mayhem, I can do whatever I want. Well, you can to a certain extent, but that's not the intent of the rule, and that's not the way it should be read. So we're here to explain it, to let you know that, like, if you showed up at finals with a box in the front seat and thinking you're going to run Mayhem, like, we're not going to allow that. It's not going to happen. So don't bring that to finals. Don't think that's going to fly, because it won't. We won't.
And our intent in making this video is education. It's not to be putting anyone under the bus, or we're not upset that person because they don't know. They're reading it, and we're just wanting to make sure that everyone has a fair chance and knows how Andrew and I are going to read and follow procedures of the rule book going forward.
Yep.
So I hope that's helpful to you guys. And
I think that should clear up any confusion or questions. If you got any other questions, post them in the comments down below on this video, or ask on Facebook, message us.
Call him.
Yep, call us. We have a phone number. Hit us up.
He'll answer.
Email us.
What's your phone number?
Multiple ways
Can I get your number?
There's multiple ways to get in touch with us.
He's not gonna give me his number. Wow.
We'll flash it up on the screen.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't be flashing people.
Yeah, we'll put the number up there.
Okay.
We'll put I think most people know our Facebook page, I would assume, but
yeah. If not, get on
we'll roll all our social media at the end in the credits on this video. There we go.
Yeah.
So
and all our sponsors.
Yeah.
We will make sure all our sponsors are there, because we're very appreciative of our sponsors so far, and we're looking forward to adding new sponsors in as well. So, and each time we do, we add that company's name at the end of our video as well.
Yep. So
show a little love for them.
I think I hit the high points of that, and the question that we've seen. So when it was brought to our attention, I immediately thought, well, I know of 2 rules specifically. One talks about the meter placement, and the other one talks about enclosure placement. So right then and there, that should kind of knock it out to what we allow and what we don't allow. So
you guys share this video. My little birdie, you know who you are. I can't wait because he's laughing at me. But my little birdie, share it with your friend or the person that you know. That way they can fix things and be excited to know what is expected, so that they can change it around and be ready to come have some cool shows with us.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.